My coffee here at Starbucks, and I hit live a little prematurely. I wasn't quite ready for it, but that's okay. Oh man, I took my MAGA hat off when I went in to order my coffee because I'm afraid they'll slip me decaf if I have my MAGA hat on. So hold on, and I'll put the mics in too, but I just finished watching the Joe Rogan interview with President Trump. There we are, got the cap of wisdom on. I just finished watching the Joe Rogan interview, and we're going to talk about it here. And it was a spectacular interview, I must tell you. In fact, not only was it a spectacular interview, it was arguably the best interview that President Trump has ever done. No doubt about it. And I'm glad he did it. Okay, one of these has cream in it and one does not. There's the one with cream. Okay. I'm still setting up, guys. I hit live on the YouTube video just a little early. Good morning. Yeah. You can't wear your... There we go. There we go. Almost ready to go. All right. We're all set up and in place now. Welcome, one and all. Do you guys wear your MAGA gear when you go into restaurants? Not a good idea, is it? Well, I watched the entire interview with President Trump and Joe Rogan. And I got to tell you, it was a beautiful interview. In fact, I would say it's quite possibly the best interview that President Trump has ever done. And I'll tell you why that is, in my opinion, and you can agree or disagree with it. One, it's one of those rare interviews where you get to see Trump in a little different way. It was very laid back. It was very casual. And Leslie, if you wear your MAGA gear and you go into restaurants, I got news for you. You've been eating and drinking spit and God knows what else. So go ahead and go into restaurants and order food with your MAGA gear on if you enjoy drinking phlegm and you don't even want to know what else. But that's I guess the stomach acids, get rid of it. Not me. Not me. Oh my goodness. I mean, I'm in Starbucks. I mean, give me a break. Give me a break. So anyway, I'm sorry to share the bad news with you. But anyway, let's get to the interview with Rogan and Trump. So it was calm, very casual. It was like two guys hanging out in their living room. And Joe Rogan, I thought, was really on point, really on point, getting Trump to talk about things that he doesn't talk about all the time, right? In fact, there was one point where Trump actually, or Joe Rogan actually said, everybody's heard that before. Let's get back to this. And, right? It was about, I don't know. It was in the first hour of the interview. I don't remember exactly what they were talking about at that point. But they talked about a lot of things in a different way. And not only that, and the 3 hours was amazing. The energy. I want you to think about this. He did a 3-hour interview that he had to travel to. That's exhausting. I mean, I do a 3-hour show every morning. I'm tired after. It's exhausting, He did that. Then he got on a plane And this is after he was busy doing stuff all day, mind you. Then he got on his plane and went to that rally and did a massive rally after that, late at night, and he's on Eastern time zone because he lives here in Florida at Mar-a-Lago. The energy, Donald Trump is not a mortal man. He's just not a mortal man. Now, on top of that, no, thousands did not walk out. Tell yourself that. It was like 200. I mean, eventually everybody walked out when Trump was done. Yes, thousands left when President Trump was finished speaking. I'll give you that. These people, Have you heard any of the people that left? There are about 200 left, the Michigan rally. Some of them had to go to work in the morning. Some of them had kids that were, a little difficult, to keep kids there that late. I don't think anyone minded. In fact, I went back after I watched the Rogan interview. I went back and watched the beginning of the rally. The crowd didn't seem to mind at all. The crowd didn't seem to mind at all. But I love all these liberals that are offended and pissed off, for the MAGA people. So it's mighty wide of you. But the energy that it took for him to do that and then fly to that rally and do that it's amazing, But I'm not going to say how many people have watched it so far because the number is going up and up and up in real time, as we're speaking. And right now, as I'm talking to you live, it's 5:55 a.m. here in Florida on the East Coast. As the sun comes up across America, all the way from sea to shining sea and then off to Hawaii, many millions more are going to watch that. How many will watch it who knows? But millions and millions and millions have already seen the Rogan interview with President Trump. And a lot of those people are people that don't hear Trump speak like that. They hear Trump as filtered through the media, right? And for many millions of people, they don't know Trump like you do. They don't know Trump like we do because we've been following him since he came down the escalator, catching pretty much every interview, speech, and rally he's ever given, right? So for those millions of people to say, he's a nice guy. Rachel Maddow and these people, they say he's a this, he's a that. Look at it, he's a great guy. It makes some sense. He touched on a lot of things, but I thought I was really moved when he talked about the Lincoln bedroom and the Lincoln lost his son Tad and the picture there. That was pretty moving. And I thought it was really interesting how President Trump was talking to Joe Rogan about how he had to hire these people. He said, there's 10,000 people, but there's like 100 that are top guys that I hire, and then they hire others. And he was talking about how difficult it is to hire businessmen because, someone's a successful businessman. They've never been in government. They've never been vetted. Then all of a sudden you give them a government job, secretary of something, then you find something out about them. And you're like, oh, this ain't going to work. And he said because of that, he says, I didn't know anybody there. I was new to politics. I had to, hire politicians. And he says, and he talked about the corruption in the politicians and things like this. Devious Chris Rogan called him out over the claim Kamala couldn't. Joe Rogan, great interview, but he's still, he's got some fantasy that Kamala's going to come in, so Rogan's kissing some butt with Kamala. But no, Trump's like daring her to do the Joe Rogan interview, right? Daring her to do it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, Rogan says he wants to have Kamala on so people can get to know her. If she sat down for a 3-hour interview, in the beginning she could get gobbledygooky and her word salads. How long into a 3-hour interview would Kamala Harris get before either she started repeating herself about middle-class family crap, BS lie, or just you realize, wow, she's really a vacuous person. I don't think she's a 3 hour interview like President Trump did last night would be devastating to Kamala. But Joe Rogan, he wants that interview. I get it. So he's sucking up for it. But no, Trump was amazing. And, you know, it's so important to understand that I have watched almost every Trump interview since he came down the escalator. At least ones there's video of. I've seen most of them. You've probably seen most of them. I'm sure some smarty pants will say, I've seen them all. Well, really? Even the local news interviews? But I've seen almost every interview Trump has given, and the vast majority of his speeches, because I'm interested in what he has to say all the time. But most people have not. So all they know about Trump and what kind of person he is what these jerk-offs in the media tell them, what sound bites that they put on the air out of context, right? So for him to sit down in such a casual interview with no preconditions and all of that, and take whatever comes at him from Rogan, that is a wake-up call for so many millions. I don't think those of us that follow politics understand that, right? Now, so far as being late to the Michigan rally, I don't think the people in Michigan, mind it at all. What's he supposed to do? How many people by the end of next week, by election eve, how many people will have seen or heard that interview with Joe Rogan of President Trump? How many? Millions and millions and millions have seen it already. But in the next week, how many will have seen it? How many millions? So what was President Trump to do, right? Do this 3-hour interview, very in-depth, covering anything Joe Rogan wants to bring up, or leave early, cut out, not reach those many millions in a way that he never has before, or go to the rally on time. I think he made the right decision. And, he made that announcement video and everything else on his way there. He had them flying as fast as they could fly on the plane to get there. He burned a lot of jet fuel to get there that they wouldn't normally burn because he had them go at full speed to get there. Yeah. No, I don't think anyone minded at all. I really do. I cannot imagine. And it's what President Trump said. It's about winning. It's about winning. And those of us that are on the Trump train, we understand that whatever look at the sacrifices he's made. He's been shot by that never Trumper. Another never Trumper tried to shoot him again here at the golf course. And the left are trying to tell us that the MAGA people sacrificed because they were waiting there a little longer. Are you freaking kidding me? What MAGA person would mind that they had to wait a couple of extra hours for him to reach millions of people when he's been shot and they're trying to kill him? Exactly. Give me a break. This is if the interview went poorly, believe me, that's what they'd be talking about. The interview went perfect. It was interview perfection. It really was. It really, really was. No, the guy, the monster that shot President Trump in Butler, was a registered Republican who was a Democrat. He became a Republican so he could vote against Trump in the primary. He probably voted for Nikki Haley. Exactly. Well, he shouldn't talk about those guys. Why should Trump give credibility and talk about those monsters? Well, this whole idea of abolishing income taxes and paying for the government with import-export taxes, tariffs, that's a brilliant thing. Now, the chances of that happening are not the greatest. That's a very very big task. But you know what? Before Trump, who would have thought that the border issue could have been taken care of, and he took care of it. Now, of course, they reopened it. Kamala Harris and Biden. So if anybody could end the income taxes, it could be Trump. But he probably, the art of the deal. The art of the. You guys, how many of you read the art of the deal? I should get a copy of it and read it. I haven't read the art of the deal in a long time. I read it during the first campaign, and I don't have a copy of it anymore. I don't know where my copy of it is. But anyway, in the art of the deal, ask for much, much more than you want. So when you get a settlement and an agreement, you probably still got more than you really wanted, right? That's what Trump does. If he needs $1 billion, he asks for 5 or 10, and then he'll end up with 3 or 4. And he's got $2, $3, $4 billion more than he really wanted for the wall project, as an example. So for President Trump to say abolishing the income tax, which he supports, I support, Democrats don't, because that's the money they steal from to make themselves rich, But it's a great negotiating tool. Didn't he say he wants to have the high tax rate lowered to 15%? That's the high. That's the top one, to 15. Mm-hmm. Now, those of you that are members to my channel, I've been vlogging this weekend, showing you my adventures from yesterday. I got this retro flip camera, which is really awesome and works well. I love this camera. It works incredibly well. It's here, I'll film a little bit. You guys will be on the vlog. So here I am in front of Starbucks, live streaming, talking about, of course, the incredible interview President Trump did with Joe Rogan in front of Starbucks. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, this camera, I got this camera for $20, and it works spectacular. I'm in shock at how well it's working. I had one of these years ago, but when they were new, it cost me more than $20 back in the day. I wish I'd have kept it. No, but abolishing the income tax, that is a negotiating tactic. He's going to get the no tax on tips. This no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, deducting from your taxes the interest on your auto loan on American-owned cars. This is brilliant stuff. Now, first of all, the no tax on tips, because everyone today pays with Apple Pay or something, or debit card. Like I got this coffee. I paid with the Starbucks app on my phone, right? That I fill up with, from my Apple wallet, right? So when you go to a restaurant, that's how you pay now, Apple Pay. You don't pay in cash. Long ago, all the tips were in cash. And people that are tip workers, when taxes are cut, they don't get tax breaks. When they cut taxes, they juggle around and lower the tax rates. But that's for income tax. People that are tip workers, for the most part, do not pay income tax. They pay payroll taxes. So when they reduce income tax rates and such, tip workers don't get a tax break, right? So President Trump eliminating the tax on tips is the first tax cut that class of American worker has really ever gotten. And also, the employer has to pay part of that tax too on tips. So you're giving a tax break to the tip workers, which, by the way, is not just waiters, waitresses, and bartenders and such. It's Lyft drivers, Uber drivers, Door Dashers, and all of that, right? And many more, are part of the tip economy. That's a beautiful thing. And believe me, people in the tip working community in this country, that is spread around. Even if they don't watch 1 second of news, they've probably heard about that. The no taxes on Social Security. This is amazing. People that are on Social Security or, except in rare instances, on very fixed incomes. Why should you be taxed on any of that? The government takes out of your payroll taxes, they take that money out of your paycheck each time you get a paycheck your entire working life. And what do they do with that money that they're holding? And so they hold on to it. And what do? They send it to Ukraine, they give it to donors, who knows? But they keep that money from you your entire working life, your Social Security deduction, and use it on whatever they want to use. And then when you're retired, they want to tax you on that? That's insane. That's huge. And the tax on overtime, people that are working overtime because they want to earn some extra money, and they're taxed heavier on overtime than on the regular pay. So a lot of times I've heard a lot of people say, I have not been an hourly worker since I was very young. So, but I've heard a lot of people say they work all this overtime and it gets eaten up in taxes. It was like a waste of work, right? So that's a beautiful thing too. And people have more money in their pocket. And what do people do when they have more money? They spend it. It gets the economy going. Boom, boom, boom. Gets the engine of the economy going even more so. These are all great things that he's talking about. The deducting of interest on auto loans on American-made cars. I want you to think about that. Okay, a couple things about it. Number one, for those that will get the deduction, right? If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have all kinds of deductions, right? Because I'm a YouTuber, right? Among all of my other jobs, everything is a deduction because I use this for YouTube. I've got my microphones I use for YouTube, and if you're a homeowner, you get to deduct your mortgage interest from your income taxes. But people that aren't in business for themselves, people that aren't homeowners, they don't get a lot of deductions. So this deduction on their auto financing, and auto financing rates can be pretty high. They're high now, but they're high, especially if you've got a used vehicle. I don't know if it'll be new or used. Well, that'll all get worked out. But if they're deducting the interest off their car loan, that's huge, huge. Huge, huge, huge. More money in their pocket, big time money in their pocket. In fact, that interest deduction might pay for their auto insurance, which is pretty high these days, right? So what are some of the other things that he's talking? Well, with that, plus look at what that's going to do for the auto industry. Because Trump said that's going to be for that deduction's going to be for American-made cars, right? So what's that going to do? People are going to stop buying foreign-made cars. They're going to start buying American-made vehicles. So that's going to be a big boom for auto manufacturers that make American cars, or foreign companies that make their cars in the United States. Then look at the dealers. Have you been to a car dealership in the last couple of years? The lots are empty. You used to go to auto lots on a Saturday or a Sunday, and they were jam-packed. Now they're ghost towns. So your local dealership is going to be booming with business because of that deduction. That's just a fact, and that's the way it is, And look at how that'll be a boom to the economy. I mean, that's amazing. Well, Chinese cars, what the Democrats are trying to do, this EV mandate, electric vehicle mandate. The reason they have an EV mandate is not because of Tesla, okay? China, who Biden gave all that lithium to in Afghanistan during the botched withdrawal, they have a whole bunch of very cheap electric vehicles that they want to bring in to the U.S. market. And the Democrats, they don't care about all this green crap. They that's all fake, okay? They don't care about that. They care about, paying back China. And, China that has no oil, they want us all on electric vehicles, and they want us buying their electric vehicles. So the EV mandate is about Chinese EVs that China wants to dump in this country. Hmm. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And he's on to them on that. So, you look at Kamala. I heard uh, Obama. He said, Kamala's got a plan. She's got a plan. What is her plan? The few things I just talked about in the last 5 minutes are just a little tiny bit of Trump's plan. And he has more than plans. He's got a record of success. They don't care about clean energy, you know. And clean energy, oil, coal, that's natural. Oil and coal is made naturally by the planet Earth. That's what it's there for. God gave us these things. These are not finite resources that we'll run out of. The earth makes oil. The earth makes coal. They call it fossil fuel, but that's just not true. When I was a kid, and I don't know if any of you thought this, I thought fossil fuel, because when I was a kid in school, it was like the 70s, 80s, they would tell us that we had 200 years of oil left, that it's a finite resource, and you see how many cars and everything, and I would ask myself, how many damn dinosaurs were there to make all this crap? And I remember I asked one of my teachers when, I don't remember what grade I was in. I don't remember if this was the 70s or 80s, but I remember asking a teacher of mine, you know, um, all the oil and everything comes from dead plants and the dinosaurs. Why is it so deep in the ground? Why isn't it like at the top? Why is it so? And he told me that every 100 years, the Earth's surface rises 1 inch, that there's another 1 inch of sediment, and the deep down. This is what my teacher told me. Can you believe this crap? Um, um, when they go down deep for the oil, that used to be the surface. that's that's the crap they used to teach people. Hmm. Exactly. Yeah, why did Biden apologize to the Indians all of a sudden? What was that all about? Out of the blue. I don't know why he felt the need to do that all of a sudden. By the way, if you're new to my channel, my name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure you subscribe. How many did you, yes or no, did you watch the, that's right. He said Trump. He put his window down to say it. Yeah, that's exactly right. The fossil, it's to create, you know, they want it to be a finite resource. Jerome Corsi wrote just an amazing book like 20 years ago called Black Gold Stranglehold. You can get it for like 1 penny on Amazon probably. Black Gold Stranglehold by Jerome Corsi, and he details the lie that oil is a finite resource and now we have unlimited amounts of it. And this thing about being against fracking, do any of you understand why would you be against fracking? It's just another way to drill for oil. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's just, they don't either. These Democrats, they don't care about any of this stuff. But the um, the interview that Joe Rogan did with Donald Trump, that was. I don't know if Trump should do any more interviews after that. Maybe he should just let that interview stammer. Oh, by the way, when I was waiting for, yeah, I do have the Trump gold hat. Absolutely, I do have the Trump gold hat. Hmm. It's a nice hat too. I must tell you, not as nice as my autographed one I got at Mar-a-Lago, the 40-some thousand-dollar autographed Trump hat. That one's really nice. The one I have at the safe deposit box at the bank. But Trump. When I was waiting for Trump at the rally last night, I was watching on Right Side, and they were showing that some of that documentary that Tucker Carlson did, and my wife and I, we subscribe to the Tucker Carlson network. It's on Roku. It's like $9 a month or something. So we're going to watch this weekend that entire documentary. The bit of it I saw on Right Side was fantastic. That's right. Now make sure you subscribe if you're new to my channel, guys. Oil's way up. I mean, my goodness. It's insanely expensive. I mean, this is the question. Are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? Other than Zelensky and some military industrial complex people, who is better off today than they were 4 years ago? If you were, tell me what you do. I mean, how's that even possible, right? How could you be better off today than you were 4 years ago? I mean, even if you're making more money, has it caught up with the inflation, right? Has it caught up with the rate of inflation? How much more would you have to make now than 4 years ago to just keep up with inflation? Yes, all the liberals will say they're better off. Yeah, well, at this hour of the morning, those are people living off of mommy and daddy, gamers at home. We'll never run out of oil. There's unlimited amounts of it. Just in this country. No insurrectionist. I mean, if you want to talk about an insurrectionist, I mean, look at Kamala Harris. Here she is running for president of the United States. She didn't get one vote in the primary. Will not run out of oil. No. I am a college graduate. I have a bachelor's degree. I'm sure you have a PhD or some advanced degree, but I have a bachelor's degree. A double major in history and education, since you asked. Don't you love these liberals? If you're MAGA, you're racist, you're educated. Plus, I have life experience, right? I'm 53 years old. I've been through life. $100 of groceries are now $200 exactly. See, PhD in finance, of course. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. PhD in finance is useless. Donald Trump's got a PhD in finance. It's called being a successful businessman. Yeah, see, there goes the racist. Are you a racist? Yes. Yes, with my black daughter, give me a break. These PhD. Remember that Bloomberg interview Trump did last week? That guy probably has a PhD in economics. What a dummy he was. The Jersey whole area went bust. Lots of things, Christina, that I'm not going to... what's the worst thing you've ever gone through? I'm not going to get into that, but I've gone through some bad stuff. Everybody goes through problems. It's called life. I'm not going to sit here and whine about them. You just move on and get through them. Watching from India. Well, welcome in India. Yes. Good MAGA morning here at the Starbucks. New Mexico. Welcome, New Mexico. The front lines of Invasion USA, New Mexico. That's right. What is border, language, and culture? Without that, you have no country. That's what Michael Savage says. Australia for Trump. It's amazing to me how closely Australia follows American politics. I watch a lot of news from Australia on YouTube. They're very MAGA out in Australia. Oh, the Joe Rogan interview was a perfect interview. Mike and Vera, welcome. I watched the whole interview this morning. I got up really early today. I watched the whole interview, and when it was over, I came over here and got my coffee to talk to you good people about it. But what do you guys think? Should that be the last interview President Trump does? I'm talking about like a real interview. I'm not talking about taking questions and having a press conference. I'm talking about a sit-down interview. Is that a good way to end it? End it so far as the interviews and just let that one grow and grow online between now and Election Day? I've not voted yet. My wife and I might vote early. We'll see. He's been on CNN so many times. Are you kidding? The debate, that was on CNN. Kamala will say he's exhausted. I mean, I can hardly keep up just watching him on TV, right? That's tough. He's actually doing it. How many of you are tired just watching him on right side? No, that you could not do an interview better than that one. There's no way you could do an interview that was better than that one. I hope, Trump said this to Joe Rogan. I hope Kamala goes on Rogan for 3 hours. I'd love people to see her for 3 hours. I want to see what she's like in hour three. Forget about the first hour or two. Just fast forward to hour three and watch that. See how she does. Mm-hmm. Exactly. By the way, make sure you subscribe, guys. If you're already subbed, like the video. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Zero. He looks great. I mean, he's got more energy and he's de-aged. Actually, if you think about it, he's the only president that has more energy and looks younger after. I mean, look at Obama. He looks like an old man. That's right. He's not a mortal man, Trump. That's why. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I mean, Kamala's done. It at this point, it's hopeless for her. There's nothing she can do at this point. Nothing. Zero. Kamala would make anyone age. Well, her neck has aged a lot during this couple of months she's been campaigning, hasn't it? Look at her neck today, and then go back 2 months and look at her neck. Kamala's neck is aging by the minute. It looks worse than Martha McCallum's neck on Fox now. 3 hours without a drink or going to the men's room for Trump. I mean, that's amazing. What guy at his age can sit somewhere for 3 hours, not go to the men's room for a men's room break, and then get on a plane, fly to another state, and do a rally at all night to tens of thousands of people? Who could do that? My guess is Kamala and her scummy husband will end up divorced, because what use is she to him? Because once you're vice president, you're done. That's it, right? There's nowhere to go. Vice presidents fade away to obscurity. No wine. Mm-mm. Yeah. I imagine, I was talking about this on, by the way, I'll have a new podcast episode later today with my wife, Kathy, so keep an eye. I'll upload it here on YouTube. But the Brian Craig Show podcast is on all podcast platforms, so you guys can check me out there. But I was talking about this on one of my podcasts this week. Kamala's trying to pass herself off as like a 45-year-old. Last Sunday, she turned 60. She's a 60-year-old lady. She is a baby boomer, born in 1964, which is the last year of the baby boomers. And I imagine she wears the tightest girdles ever, like the kind that Scarlett O'Hara is putting on at the beginning of Gone with the Wind. That's why she runs off stage so quick when she speaks, because she's got to loosen up those girdles she's wearing to make herself look presentable. Now, if you missed my live stream last night, go back and watch it after this one. It's on Kamala Harris's law school admission scandal. Unbelievable stuff I broke down on that stream, so make sure you go and watch that. She committed some major crimes getting into law school, and it's reported in multiple sources. Huge story. You hate her pantsuit. Wear a dress occasionally. Yeah. You think she's wearing like those old-fashioned girdles? No doubt. No doubt. Mm-hmm. Trump has all of our backs. All of our backs. I don't think the Spanx are enough, man. I don't think the Spanx would do it. She needs more than Spanx. Oh, that interview that she did with Brett Baer was what, 12 minutes? Something like that. She could barely get through that. And she had no answers. None. Her sitting there for 3 hours, I'd love to see that. We talked a lot of policy earlier in the stream. Always pray for Trump. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, big juggles. That's who Kamala has there. Big juggles. Where I'm sitting here at the Starbucks is where the cars driving by are going through the drive-through. The drive-thru's like right here. I think 3 or 4 Teslas have come by. Don't they see what happens when we have hurricanes and there's floods, that they sometimes combust in the flames. There's no freaking way. She, if you go back through this criminal campaign of Kamala Harris's, that after they had the coup against Biden, when did she have a good moment in any of her appearances anywhere, including the debate with Trump? It's all been a disaster. The debate with Trump, David Muir, they gave her the questions in advance for her to practice, came out. The girl that was with David Muir is a sorority sister of Kamala Harris's. That was the best she did at any of her moments, and that was a complete disaster. When did she have a good moment during this entire campaign season? I don't know one. Do you? Mm-mm. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Oh, no, it was brutal. I want you to think about it. They fact-checked Trump, but not her. David Muir. And then the girl with him is the sorority sister of Kamala's from the racially segregated, which I thought was illegal to segregate, but the black sorority. I mean, come on. She should have been disqualified just for that, from moderating that debate. Mm-hmm. But don't worry. Remember what Tucker said the other night. Daddy's coming home, and Daddy is pissed. I love what President Trump said the other day. In 2 seconds after taking the oath, he's going to fire Jack Smith. So that's good. I guess that'll be his first action. Firing Jack Smith. Wait until the media get a hold of that. Tesla. If you want to get a Tesla, get one. But, not for me. I thought about getting one until a couple years ago. We had a big hurricane in Florida, and the floodwaters got into some of them and caused battery corrosion, and some of them burst into flames, sometimes with people in them from the battery corrosion. So I thought, that's it, no way. Because I drive pretty far, and I thought, Tesla, I like Elon Musk. I watch his rockets take off all the time from my backyard, and I thought, that'd be pretty cool. But not if they combust into flames when the batteries get wet from floods. Not for me. No. Trump has 100 million supporters strong, at least, in the United States. If a cult is when you got a small group, a small following, right? So if you're not on the Trump train, you're in the minority. You're in the cult. It's actually the opposite. I know. Big Juggles understands everything. Just everything. Let's see, where are we? Yeah. Hydrogen cars. I don't know about that. A better world. We got to start with a better America. Mm-hmm. Welcome, everyone. Hey, Cindy. Welcome, everyone. Make sure you're subscribed. Well, it was interesting when MSNBC went to Philadelphia and talked to that focus group of black women, and they said that she's not black. It was Alex Wagner from MSNBC. She was in shock at that group. Not only are they not voting for Kamala, they said she's not black. I mean, I don't know what she is, but the black women in Philadelphia on MSNBC said she's not. And they made a big point. They said when she got elected, she was making a big deal of being the first Indian American. Now all of a sudden, she wants to be one of us? Come on. Divorced? Well, tell my wife that. I think my wife would be very shocked if we're divorced. Mm-hmm. You voted for Trump Monday. This is the last time you're going to get to vote for Donald Trump, right? It may not be the last time we vote for a Trump, but it's the last time we get to vote for Donald Trump. Actually, it's more. This will be like the 6th time because of the primaries, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is exciting. This is exciting, and that's one of the reasons I've been watching all of Trump's speeches and interviews because he'll never be campaigning for himself again, right? There'll always be rallies, there'll always be events and interviews, but he'll be campaigning and having rallies for other people in the future. So this is it. This is the last week or so of rallies for himself. Thank you, $5 super chat. Renewable is inefficient. Yes, exactly. I'm not sure. How do you say your name? Charitard? Thank you for that $5 super chat. Appreciate it. Kamala, listening to Kamala when she speaks, doing these interviews, she's supposed to be a serious person. To me, it sounds like the Miss America, Miss USA pageants, when the beauty queens are asked serious questions and they sound like idiots. That's what it's like listening to her. I mean, all the other than Al Gore, vice presidents fade away. And he's even faded away, really. Of course they are. I mean, what's wrong with nuclear energy, right? We've never had a meltdown in this country. We have a major nuclear power plant here in Florida. Never had any problems with it. He is the cool. What Joe Rogan, one of the things he said to President Trump in that interview that was just absolutely amazing was he says, if you want to be a rebel, you're a Republican now. That's right. It's right. Yeah. Stephen Miller's talked about that. He's like, you want to stick it to the man? Vote Trump. That's right. He was using these terms from the 60s. You want to be a hippie? Vote Trump. That's right. And it was nice to hear Joe Rogan talking that way, which tells me he's been watching the Trump rallies. Stephen Miller is awesome. I kind of would like him to be the press secretary, wouldn't you? Absolutely. Oh, there's no doubt that there was an intervention by God himself to move Trump's head so that never Trumper, the bullet missed him. My goodness, you got to remember that was before, Butler was before President Trump picked J.D. Vance. We wouldn't have had a successor. Well, what would have happened? And if that would have happened, my God, Don Jr. and Eric and Laura may have said that Dad was going to pick J.D. Vance, but who knows how that would have gone. Now, if you've not watched it yet, I did. I guess it was the Thursday after the golf course assassin tried to shoot President Trump. I did a documentary. It's here on my YouTube channel of that event, and I went to the golf course because it's right up the road here, and I stood where the golf course assassin stood. I follow his escape route that he got followed to all the way to where they arrested him off of I-95, and I stop on I-95 and show where they arrested him. Go and watch that video, okay? And when in that documentary I did, walking the steps of the golf course assassin, and I was in the exact spot. I was able to find the exact spot where he stood. Now keep in mind, they give us this BS story that he got there. What was it, 1:50-ish a.m. and he was there until almost noon. No freaking way. Those bushes there are transparent. They're very thin. And the guy was wearing a pink shirt. He was back there with a pink shirt and an AK-47 from 1:50 a.m. until like almost noon. Total BS. When I'm standing there, I can see and hear the golfers on the golf course, and I can see what they're wearing. I can see their faces. There's no way that guy was hidden there all that time. It's completely just BS. And I am in shock that I'm the only one that's done that video. I went there the Thursday after the golf course assassination attempt, and I was going to wait till the weekend and do it on actually 7 days later. They had the road closed, and they opened the road back up on Wednesday. So I went the next morning when I got off the air, and I rushed to do it because I thought everybody would be doing that video. No one's done it, and if you see it, it's insane. I not only do I start where the assassin was at the golf course, exact spot. It was amazing, and I show how I found the exact spot. I show when he ran, where he ran across the street, where his car was parked, the whole thing, and you get a whole new perspective on how bogus this whole narrative about that is when you actually see it in 4K. And it's right here on my YouTube channel, so make sure you guys watch it. It was amazing. And they got him by accident. He was supposed to get away. And that lady witness saw him and followed him and got his license plate number and gave it to the deputies, and they got him. But when you watch my video, and those of you that have, I think will back me up, there's no freaking way that the official narrative on that is true. And it was really amazing to have. Any of you been to Dealey Plaza? I've been there, taken that tour. And what the documentary I made that's here on my channel, it's like going to Dealey Plaza, 4 days after the Kennedy assassination, and showing everything. Now it's like a tourist spot, and all that stuff. It was fascinating to do, and having studied history in college and all, to go there right then and be the first to do it. It's really I'm documenting history with that. Kamala is just stupid. She's just a stupid person. I mean, obviously, we're seeing that. She's just a very stupid person. I mean, she may have a learning disability for all I know. I mean, I've never seen somebody at this level be as dumb as... I mean, she's just a bird brain. I mean, it's insane. Trump is Braveheart. Yes. Yes. Well, welcome from India. Welcome, welcome. Mm-hmm. Well, the way that she lied her way into law school is criminal. She basically took a deserving person's seat away from him. I'm glad you mentioned Braveheart. I mean, Mel Gibson said it. What was it Mel Gibson said about Kamala? She's as dumb as a post, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, look, it's so over for her. This whole story about the Washington Post, for the first time in like 35, 40 years, not endorsing in a presidential election. That tells you everything you need to know. Bezos didn't want to damage the whatever reputation the paper has left. Well, everybody leaves at some point. Yes, when Trump was done speaking, you were correct. Everyone left, Quinnell. Jeez. Yeah. A fence post, yes. Mel Gibson, he said, Kamala's as dumb as a fence post. That's exactly right. Yeah, she wants to abolish ICE. Remember when Kamala was promoting those bail funds to bail looters out of jail? I mean, what the hell? Exactly. I mean, who bails looters out of jail and runs for public office? Who does that? Mm-hmm. Coffee's almost done. I'll end the stream when my coffee's done. Yeah, she has zero substance. You're correct. Kamala has less than zero substance. Smoke and mirrors, and now that she's after the big job. I mean, the only thing that makes her look like she's got any brainwaves going on is how insane Tim Walz is and his lunatic wife. I mean, the first decision she made, right, as the Democrat candidate, was to pick that idiot, Stolen Valor, to be her running mate. Her first decision was a terrible decision. When you're voting for someone for president, there's a lot of qualities that you look for, and one of them is good judgment. Does picking Tim Walz show good judgment or bad judgment? What do you think? Here's another Tesla. A lot of Teslas here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I mean, I thought Rogan has some good stuff. I figured he would ask about the UFOs, you know. Yeah, when she was sleep deprived. Yeah, exactly. What does that say? Sleep deprived or hungover? Which was it? Probably a little bit of both. Well, thank you. All the best to you too in India. I love these early mornings. It's 6:44 a.m. here in Florida. Make sure you subscribe, guys, if you are new to my channel. Who could be a supporter of Tim Walz? The guy's insane. You know, I had this audio clip of him that I played on the radio yesterday. Tim Walz, and this is insane to me. He said in Minnesota, if you are at work and it's a union shop, right? You work at a job where the unions are, and you talk to your coworker, just casual conversation at the water cooler or at a urinal about, hey, maybe we shouldn't be in this union. He says you go to jail for that. Anti-union. That's Tim Walz. It's on. I played on the radio yesterday. It's on my X feed. If you follow me on X at Brian Craig Show, he said you go to jail in Minnesota for talking against unions. I mean, who does that? That's insane. Mm-hmm. I know, it is crazy. That's like against the First Amendment of our Constitution, right? Number one. And he's bragging about it. Crossing out the First Amendment in Minnesota is something Tim Walz is bragging about. Yeah, he did. So I've got it's on my X, Brian Craig Show on X. I posted it there yesterday, and I talked about it on my live stream yesterday morning. Oh, yeah, they will. I love how all these Trump haters are upset that Trump was late to the rally last night after the Rogan interview. I don't see the MAGA people upset about it. Mm-hmm. No, you didn't see it. It's a video of him. It's a video of Tim Walz saying it in a speech. You can count on liberals to lie. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went to sleep too. I don't have the energy of Trump. Who has the energy of Trump? Mm-hmm. And I got a busy day today, though. I got a lot of stuff to do today. A lot of work around the house and a lot of business I got to do, and a new podcast. Yeah, welcome. Those of you that are new to my channel, welcome. If you don't know me, my name's Brian Craig. I'm a radio talk show host. I host a morning radio show that's on a whole bunch of FM radio stations. I live stream on YouTube when I'm on the radio during the week. I have a podcast, and of course, I'm always talking here on YouTube. Now, I'm in front of Starbucks. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And if you love Trump, you'll love this channel. If you're not on the Trump train, you watch me long enough, you will. We'll red pill you. Has there been a documented case of someone being blue-pilled? I've never heard of that before. People are getting red pilled all the time, right? Has there been a documented case of someone being blue pilled? Mm-hmm. None. Liz Cheney hasn't been blue pilled. She's just a greedy warmonger who works for the military-industrial complex. I'm talking about actually blue pilled, where they've woken up and said, "Oh, liberalism is the way." I've never seen it. That doesn't exist. That doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's amazing how many people do DoorDash for coffee. Would you DoorDash for coffee? I mean, how much does a cup of coffee from Starbucks cost on DoorDash? Why would you jail Donald Trump? For what? Is making America great again some kind of crime? It's got to be, yeah. This cup here was just under $5. It was like $4.80 something cents. Plus, I got a second cup that I'm leaning the phone up against to live stream with, since I don't have a stand here for the phone. Oh, very highly educated. Oh, my goodness. Another one of those. Oh, it's going to be beautiful. I mean, you know, when Trump is back in that Oval Office, you know it's going to be exciting. When he's president-elect again, he'll go to the White House to meet with Biden when he's president-elect again. President-elect, President Trump. He should have just left his boxes behind, right? Sure smokes a lot. Says a pothead. Well, thank you for the super sticker there. Hamburgers are always good. Appreciate that. From India. Educated does not mean intelligent. In fact, John, it often means the exact opposite of intelligence. It means brainwashing. Exactly. I was lucky I went to college as an adult, so they couldn't wash my brain with their liberal crap. Right? Going to college right out of high school is a bad idea. You need to go as an adult like I did. I was married when I went to college. Oh, a legalized drug dealer. Yeah, you know, they were taking bids and plans to rebuild the World Trade Center. Donald Trump had the best proposal of all. I saw him on Cavuto talking about it back at the time before he was running for president. Of course, they didn't let him do it. He wanted to rebuild each of the towers exactly as they were and make each one story taller as an FU to the guys that knocked him down. And I thought that was a great, brilliant idea. Absolutely. Great. Well, all of Trump's ideas are great ideas. No doubt about it. Are you kidding me? You know, Donald Trump, you know, his properties are all paid for. You know, banks would love to loan him money. He's just got so much cash, he doesn't need to take loans. A bad businessman. Are you kidding me? Guy's a billionaire many times over with beautiful places. You know, if you guys ever went to Mar-a-Lago, you know, when I've been to Mar-a-Lago, what impressed me the most about Mar-a-Lago was the bathrooms. I've never seen bathrooms this luxurious. The way I would describe when you go inside Mar-a-Lago, it's much more beautiful in person than it is on TV. TV does Mar-a-Lago an injustice. And when you go inside the gates, it's like being in Hawaii. It's so beautiful and serene there. There's a lot of military and Secret Service with big, huge guns and rifles and military vehicles. But other than that, it's like a very serene paradise. But Mar-a-Lago, like if Louis XVI lived today, his house would look like Mar-a-Lago. It's like a modern-day Louis XVI palace. You know, I mean, you know, he's just amazing. Just absolutely amazing. You really got to feel sorry for these people that have not been red-pilled, that are still in the Matrix. You see the trolls in the chat, they're still living in the Matrix. Quinnell and all these people. Q Squad. Yeah, they're in the Matrix still. They don't want to get out of the tub of goo and see the real world and be red-pilled. I know. There was always that, remember that one guy in the Matrix that wanted to go back in the Matrix? Couldn't handle the real world? Of course. Hey, a lot of Republicans hate Trump. Look at Liz Cheney, Dick Cheney, George Bush, Paul Ryan, Mitt Romney. A lot of these Republicans hate Trump. Fake Republicans. Women for Trump, absolutely. Mm-hmm. No, convicted rapist. What are you talking about? That's making stuff up now. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe, guys. So getting back to where I started, back to the Joe Rogan interview. The Joe Rogan interview with President Trump, I got to tell you, was the best interview I've ever seen of Donald Trump. I thought the Tucker Carlson interview was amazing. Remember when Tucker did that? This is the best. The best. And what I was the important, there's two things that are important about the Rogan interview with Trump. One, I talked about already, and that is, how many millions will have seen that interview by this time next week? I don't know. When I went to see, I watched that interview. I started watching it at about 2:30 this morning, and on YouTube it had 4.5 million people then, just on YouTube, and that was at 2:30 in the morning, just middle of the night. I don't know how many it has now, how many it'll have, but so tens of millions of people will hear President Trump speak for the first time, without the filter of the media taking a soundbite and slandering him. That'll wake up a lot of people. I mean, there's two main reasons that interview with Rogan and Trump is so important. And that's one, because the millions of people will say, "What? That's not what Morning Joe has been telling. That's not what Rachel Maddow's just said. Joy Reid and The View, they're so wrong." I thought it was interesting when Rogan brought up how they were welcoming him on The View. Whoopi, my friend Donald, and how Joy Behar was begging him to come on The View. But the second thing that's important about the Rogan interview of President Trump is this: it really exposes what a cowardly weakling Willie Brown's girlfriend Kamala Harris is. She couldn't do it. She couldn't do it. Sitting there for 3 hours. She couldn't, these other interviews she did, like with Bret Baier, are very short interviews, and she looks bad enough in those. What would she be like after that? And you remember the Bret Baier interview, he had to have that interview done and ready to air at 6 p.m. Eastern. She didn't sit down till like 5:15. Isn't that nuts? Yeah. So it really exposes her. Grandma Snark, $10 super chat. Supporting Trump since 2015. Appreciate your channel. Well, I appreciate you, Grandma's. Is it Grandma's Narc or is it Grandma Snark? Which is it? But thank you for the super chat. So those are, I'm sure there's other reasons why it's important and everything, but I think those are the two main ones. Mm-hmm. She showed up late on purpose, so there was less time to do the interview. I mean, it's obvious, isn't it? She showed up super late. 8.2 million, and that's just on YouTube, right? I mean, think about it. How many people on Spotify, other people are going to show that interview on other things? And the sun's not even up. It's just, I see the sun creeping up a little bit over the beach here. Mm-hmm. I can still hear some crickets. Yeah, waiting. Well, I come here to live stream so my wife can sleep in on Saturdays and I don't wake her up. He bankrupted all of his businesses? Really? Doral in Miami? That golf resort's bankrupt? Really? His resort in Scotland's bankrupt? What's the matter with you? What's the matter with you? Oh, he's going to win. He's going to win. Mm-hmm. Don't worry. As long as we turn out, we still need to have 100 million turn out. But, look at the early voting, okay? Republican early voting turnout numbers are a record high. Democrat early voting numbers are a historic low. A lot about this. This is very important. The Democrats' entire strategy is about the early vote. It has been for years. So that's been destroyed. And of these Democrats that are, the Republican turnout is huge. Early voting turnout, that's pretty much 100% Trump voters right there, right? If you're going out as a Republican and voting early, you're doing it to vote for Trump. The Democrats, their early voting numbers are down, but a lot of them are voting for Trump too, right? We've got almost a 100% turnout for Trump among Republican early voters. What percentage of the Democrats that are voting early are voting for Kamala? Not even close to that. There's no way to guess at how many. So, this is amazing. It's amazing. I call it the Trump miracle. Everything they've done. They've arrested him. They got a mugshot. They sued him. Fake convictions from a corrupt judge. They shot him. They tried to shoot him again at the golf course. And boom, and look at him. CNN says he's more popular than ever. Think about that. More popular at any point in time, even on the day he came down the escalator. Think about that. Think about that. It's because people in this country, they don't like the lawfare. They don't like how he's been treated. And inflation is destroying people's lives in this country. I mean, I feel so sorry for young families that have kids. I mean, how much is Halloween costing this year compared to 4 years ago? You got little kids, you got to get them Halloween costumes and everything. How much? It's tough. My daughter's soon to be 26 years old, grown. It's terrible. We got Christmas coming up. So things are. It's the Trump miracle. Now, with all that being said, it's like Charlie Kirk was saying the other night at the Georgia Turning Point event that Trump and Tucker and Bobby Kennedy were at. It's not like Obama and Comey and all these people are just, he's won and giving up. We still got a little more than a week left, and who knows what crap they are going to pull. Well, if you're a parent, you got to take your kid to get a Halloween costume. That costs money. And people, young parents that have young kids don't have a lot of extra spending money because of the Kamala Harris, Joe Biden inflation. Yeah. It's the way it is. Well, at least the union people should be, the union membership did not vote with the union leadership on the Trump endorsements. So it looks like the union members are saying no to the unions. Oh, we're probably not going to hand out candy for Halloween this year. We'll do something else. But how much is Halloween candy for trick-or-treaters? Oh my goodness. I don't know. Candy prices, like everything else, is up. Well, on Inauguration Day, I filled up my car, and I made note of it. I went to Mar-a-Lago to see Trump on his last... I saw Trump the last 15 minutes of his first term in person. I filled up my car, and I took note of it at the time. I paid $1.57 a gallon of gas. That was regular unleaded, $1.57 for a gallon of gas on Inauguration Day. Now what is it? What's regular 87 octane today? I don't even look. I don't want to know. Right? It's crazy. And it'll drop again. Drop. You lower, you drill, baby, drill. You lower the gas prices, lower those oil prices, and stop spending all this money on these endless wars. The inflation will drop big time when gas prices drop. $3.15 for regular. Michigan, $3.05 for 87. Wow. I mean, think about it. Pretty much the last year of Trump's first term, the global economy was shut down, and he kept the economy of the world together. Handed Kamala, handed Biden. Oh, there's another EV, one of those Rivians. Handed them a perfect economy, and they wrecked it. A bag of Hershey's candy is almost $8 at a local Walmart. Holy crap. I imagine a lot of people aren't going to be handing out candy to trick-or-treaters this year. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Walmart, $25 for a bag of candy in San Diego? Holy smokes. Jobs were not down. The economy was shut down because of the shutdowns and lockdowns. I tell you, liberals. They're just so dishonest. Have you all subscribed to my channel? Please do. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. And everyone who's already subbed, do me the favor of liking the video if you don't mind, all right? Mm-hmm. Sure, Christians, you don't celebrate Halloween. It's like a party event. You don't celebrate. I mean, it's not something you celebrate. Mm-hmm. $4 a gallon almost in Kentucky for 87. That sucks. It's a little chilly today. It was in the 60s this morning when I woke up. I don't know what it is now. A Christian or a Trumper? What does that even mean? I'm definitely MAGA, and I'm Catholic. Well, you know, the people in the chat, the trolls in the chat are mostly, you know, some of them are just loser bums, you know, but a lot of them are just kids living off of mommy and daddy. Now, they might be 30 years old, but they're living off of mommy and daddy, so, you know, they don't care about things because they don't pay any bills. Mm-hmm. You can't be, but it says you. A Peruvian witch doctor is better. Exactly. Where they do those, that sweat lodge therapy in Peru. Unions destroy manufacturing by driving up the cost of labor too high, where it's hard to profitably make things here. That's exactly right. Oh, wow. A PhD economist with 20 years working in public policy. That means you know jack shit, okay, about the economy. To be a true economist, you got to work in like the real world, like Donald Trump has, work in private companies and businesses. Like that guy at Bloomberg that was interviewing Trump last week. Mm-hmm. We don't have basements here in Florida, so not in any basement here. You go down 2 feet, you're in the water. Oh, man. Yeah, you're educated on woke propaganda. Well, listen, guys, thanks for watching. I will be back later today, so make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like the video. My name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'll see you later. Thanks for watching, everybody.